Okay, I would like to call regular meeting number 9 for the year 2023 to order and ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silent prayer. If we could join in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We can have Mary Jo for a roll call.
Mr. Vice Chairman of Legislative or President, with the exception of Legislator Lucas and Chairman Linger, which is joining us tonight.
All right, thank you, Mary Jo. If there are no objections or corrections to the minutes of the previous meetings, I declare them approved. And I'll ask for a motion and a second to dispense with committee reports. Martinez and Hobart. Meeting correspondence is included in everyone's packets this evening, and with that, we'll proceed into the resolution with Mary Jo.
Resolution number 280-23, authorization to pay claims. Moved by Legislator Martinez, second by Legislator Hobart and Legislator Lang.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 287-23, authorization to pay claims highway. Moved by Legislator Bueller, second by Legislator Hobart.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 288-23, authorizing agreement with the Village of Coxsackie and Empire River Ventures LLC, Restore New York, Round 7, Project Grant number 135-924. Moved by Legislator Handle, second by Legislator Overbaugh.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Oh. So carried.
Resolution 289-23, authorizing contract, Greene County with Greene County Emergency Medical Systems Inc. Moved by Legislator Davis, second by Legislator Blumer.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed. So carried.
Resolution 290-23, authorizing contract, Greene County with Greene County Medical Services Inc. for the town of Halifax. Moved by Legislator Lennon, second by Legislator Hammond.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 291-23, awarding bid for abrasive, dry screens and wash used in snow and ice control. Moved by Legislator Martinez, second by Legislator Bueller.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 292-23, authorizing the implementation and funding the cost of 100% of the cost of the transportation project. May be eligible for federal aid and or state aid or reimbursement from Bridges, New York, and established capital project number 141, County Route 3 over West Settlement, Brownell Creek. Moved by Legislator Lang, second by Legislator Handle.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 293-23, accepting formal proposal for engineering work necessary for the design and part-time construction inspection services for the replacement of the County Route 67 Jack R. Culvert over Jan Baker's Hill, SIN 67-06-180-GRN, Town of Greene. Moved by Legislator Lennon, second by Legislator Handle.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 294-23, authorizing vehicle purchase, Greene County Department of Buildings and Grounds. Moved by Legislator Martinez, second by Legislator Rivera.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 295-23, awarding bid and authorizing contract with Shepherd Communications and Security for the Greene County Video Surveillance System. Moved by Legislator Lennon, second by Legislator Rivera.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 296-23, authorizing agreement, Greene County Family Planning and Katie Flyer Design. Moved by Legislator Lennon, second by Legislator Davis.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
One opposed by Bueller. Carried.
Resolution 297-23, authorizing agreement, Greene County Family Planning and Laboratory Corporation, Labcorp of America Holdings. Moved by Legislator Davis, second by Legislator Hobart and Legislator Blumer.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 298-23, approving related service provider contract, preschool education program. Moved by legislator Lemon, second by legislator Handle.
Those in favor?
Aye.
If I could clarify for the question that came up Monday on the ability to evaluate the service provider performance. All the service providers have to be certified by New York State first before they're able to become a service provider. And so from a credential standpoint, that's number one. Number two is the school district is more involved with this on the operations side. We're more the financial fiduciary. The parents have a quarterly meeting with the school district and the service provider, and then we get the feedback from that as well. And that gives us the ability to challenge the service provider if there's a discussion brought up either by the school or the parents as to whether or not the gains, if you will, are satisfactory.
Has that ever occurred in your time?
I asked that question and no. I know it.
Nobody's that good.
Good point. But whether or not the system, so the conversation then continued where I asked, do we survey the parents at all after that session or at any time during the 1 or 2 years that the child may be with us? And at this point, we haven't. We are now going to develop a survey and get more parental feedback. The only downside is there are so few providers that for us to be able to move somebody out would be very difficult because there'd be nobody to backfill that specific. So that's going to be the real challenge.
So when the state
State certified.
oversees, they certify, so these credentials for these.
Right, so if you're an occupational therapist or a speech therapist,
So you would think that the state has some oversight on evaluating them.
it can be illogical.
Well, would there be a contact in the state just to see if it's even happening? I mean,
I could follow up with that.
So you know what the problem is? I don't know how many people have dealt with having a parent going through a mental issue as far as like Alzheimer's or dementia or anything like that. You're just so happy that somebody's helping you out.
Well, this is school aid. This is
I
0 to
know,
3 days.
it's the same, trust me.
Well, I see your point.
It's the same view. So you're happy that somebody's helping you and you're sitting there thinking your children's gonna do better. And trust me, the last thing you're gonna do is get somebody to say, I think it's a bad idea. It's so much more than any of us sitting here, unless you've gone through it, know that I think you're barking up the wrong tree, because anything that happens with these people at any time is an advantage. So I'm just telling you that if you think you can do a better job, God bless you, but it's a very, very difficult thing to go through. It's a very difficult thing to deal with. That's it.
I think it might be a good idea though to get feedback. So good or bad.
good or bad. I'd love to hear it's good. I mean, the reality is many of these government allocated programs all start with good intentions. I'm not denying that and the intention. It's just that there always seems to be a lack of oversight, and then the cost increases naturally because of a lack of oversight, a lack of accountability. And it doesn't matter if it's for kids or for older people. Government needs to be held accountable when money's being expended. It's that simple. And these people who are receiving, as a business, remuneration from government funds. So that's all I'm asking for.
Legit question.
Yeah. So we'll take a vote again. All those in favor of this resolution?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 299-23, authorizing agreement with Greene Public Health and Columbia County Community Healthcare Consortium Community Health Needs Assessment, Community Health Improvement Plan. Moved by legislator Hobart, second by legislator Davis.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 300-23, including center-based agency provider contract, preschool federal education program. Moved by legislator Shu, second by legislator Rivera.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 301-23, authorizing out-of-state travel, Greene County Economic Development, Tourism and Planning, Kieran Coleman, Senior Tourism Sales and Marketing Coordinator. Moved by legislator Bueller, second by legislator Lemon.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 302-23, authorizing public hearing on 2024 tentative county budget. Moved by legislator Overbaugh, second by legislator Davis.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 303-23, setting public hearing in local law introduction number 5 of 2023, local law employs proposing and extending additional mortgage reporting tax in Greene County. Moved by legislator Martinez, second by legislator Davis, and legislator Clay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Authorizing chargeback assessment of related services and materials.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Moved by legislator Davis, second by legislator Martinez.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 205-23, amounts due to county treasurer by restricted accounts. Moved by legislator Overbaugh, second by legislator Davis.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 306-23, budget amendment, insurance recovery, Greene County Sheriff. Moved by legislator Handle, second by legislator Martinez.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 307-23, budget amendment, insurance recovery, buildings and grounds. Moved by legislator Handle, second by legislator Bueller.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution 308-23, budget amendment, public health and buildings and grounds, insurance recovery. Moved by legislator Hobart, second by legislator Handle.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. That marks the end of our resolutions. There's one chairman's appointment that I'm going to read. Appointing member to the Advisory Council to the Greene County Department for the Aging for 2023. Being duly authorized as vice chair of the Greene County Legislature, I do hereby appoint upon the recommendation of Stephanie Schluter, Executive Director of, I feel like Charlie, the Greene County Department of Human Services Aging,
Oh, boy.
the following as a member of the Advisory Council of the Greene County Department of Aging for 2023, Ann Craig, the Greene County Department of Social Services, replacing Beatrice Clappin. And is there anything else to bring before our meeting this evening?
Yes, sir. I've gotten the names of 2 consulting firms that specialize in EMS services. I haven't spoken to anybody yet. I've reached out. I'm waiting to return phone calls, so I wasn't sure if anybody had any thoughts about forming the committee, membership. Would we want that committee appointed to do interviews with an agency? Or do we just, do we want to do it administratively? So I guess after I do actually speak to them, I'll do a summary sheet, whatever, and we can discuss it. But I'd like to get this moved for the next month's cycle to either form the committee and is it how big, how many people, is it, where do you want, what disciplines do we want, what town representation, et cetera?
Yeah, I think we should think about it. I mean, I would like to see Sean Hotel, he's our EMS coordinator, be.
Well, I think he would be a staff person to
Yeah, I
the
think-
Citizens Committee, and then
I would think it'd be like the last time where you have a representative from every town and go through that. That worked out pretty well because you could soundboard things back and forth because everybody's a little different. And then you have the county representatives, but the way we did it before 10 years ago, I thought worked well. And then that way everybody's at the table and you're ready to go.
Yeah, I think we need an independent voice head, to really grasp it. That's why I think.
Sean, have you,
Discuss with all of us.
too, I mean, I know some southern states, this model has taken place. A lot of county-wide school districts and county-wide ambulance and county-wide fire. But up in the Northeast, New England, or in New York State, are there similar counties with our demographics that have done something like this that you can just automatically go to?
yeah, I can call my list, I can use my listserv to see if anybody has gone through a similar experience
Gotcha.
and see if that with NACO, National Association of Counties, like, as you say, below the Mason-Dixon line, it really isn't town government and village
Right.
government, it's all county government.
Right.
So I can reach out to NACO too and see if they have anybody who's gone through the same type of experience.
Okay, thank you.
Carol?
Actually, no, nobody's done this in the Northeast before. That's why we were in line for that $1 million grant. And we were at the head of the table and we went through it and,
450,000.
no, this was $1 million.
No, it's from Farmer State. It turned out it was gonna be 450. If we did it, because we were the first one to share service.
I have to go back, but I believe it was $1 million, but it doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
We were the first ones to do it and we were at the head of the line and we were gonna get the grant to make this whole thing happen. And of course, it didn't happen, so we fell out. So no, there's nobody that's ever done this before. And it was an exciting thing. And if you talk to Ron Roush and the rest of them, that was very cutting edge and we were at the top of there's Mike Ryan. Mike, you remember the whole thing, don't you?
Sure, of course.
Yeah. Am I not speaking the truth?
Yep. We would have been the first in New York State.
And it was a good thing. And then if you remember, we had the gentleman, gosh, I'm going back maybe a year or two ago, that sat here from the south that he grew up here, went down there and worked. And he came back and he said, this is what we do down here. I would like to see it come up here. Am I not right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is new for here, but it's happened before and we would have been at the top of the line and we should be at the top of the line again. So I think we should look at it and have all the towns involved.
Yeah. All right. I think the towns definitely have to be involved.
Great. Anything else? So we have Wayne Spielberg Youth Grants will be available in the office this Friday after 2 p.m. We do have a few memorial adjournments. I'd like to first start off, we have 2 from Catskill and 2 from Coxsackie. The first was Alan Kauser, 66 of Catskill, passed away on September 7th, 2023, unexpectedly at his home. He was born in Catskill, the only son of the late Alan Kauser II and Evelyn Proper. Alan married Jean Ecott on September 30th, 1983. He was a custodian for Catskill Central School District since 1996, a member of the Catskill Elks Lodge 1341, former assistant chief of Leeds Hose and volunteer firefighter, and also served on the Catskill Central School District's Board of Education. Alan was an avid sports fan. He loved his New York Mets and Miami Dolphins. He enjoyed fishing and hunting, but most of all, he loved being a grandfather to his 3 granddaughters. Loving husband of Jean Kauser of Catskill, father of Courtney Johnson Parrish, Jeffrey of Catskill, and Lynn Johnson Sayre, Stephen of Monroe, grandfather of Riley Parrish, Isabella Sayre, Samantha Sayre, brother of Doris Kauser of Catskill, Lisa Kauser of Catskill, Liza Sepatello, Joseph of West Saugerties, Ida Acampora of North Carolina, and the late Margaret Morrison, nephew of the late Catherine Pentramal and uncle of many nieces and nephews. Alan also leaves behind his beloved dog, Avery. Alan certainly was a icon of the community. You would always see out in all different places. I'd like to get a motion to adjourn our meeting in honor of his memory.
Take that motion.
Second. If we could all second that.
Second.
The second one is for Giovanna M. Sheridan, 88 of Leeds, passed away on September 4th, 2023. She was born to the late Benjamin and Civitella Vigiletti Corallo, a lifelong resident of Catskill. Giovanna attended St. Patrick's Academy and Albany Business College. She began her working career during the summers with AT&T in Catskill as operator 44. She spent 10 years working for Central Hudson Gas and Electric and met her late husband, Warren. The 2 married September 29, 1962 at St. Patrick's Church in Catskill. Giovanna then spent 29 years working for Columbia Greene Community College before retiring in 2005. Giovanna enjoyed all the best things life had to offer. She spent days reading and gardening, going for drives in her car, cooking, and she especially loved her friends and family. Above all, she loved God. And I know that she's definitely with him today, so I'd like to get another motion to adjourn our meeting.
I'll move that.
Moved by legislator Overbaugh,
I'll second it.
seconded by our board. The third is from Legislator Martinez. You have yours.
Okay, habituated Ronald Dowse, age 75 of Cooksaki, passed away September 16th, 23 at his home. Ronnie was born December 30th, 47, Catskill, New York, the son of the late Albert A. and Julia Vada Dowse. Besides his parents, Ronald was predeceased by his loving wife, Kathy A. Dowse, on November 20th, 2019. Ronald served his country proudly in the United States Army, serving from January 8th, 1968, October 6th, 69, during Vietnam. In fact, he was a Vietnam vet. Ron was a member of the Cooksaki American Legion Post number 166, commander of the VFW at Cooksaki. He's also a member of the Knights of Columbus in Cooksaki, life member of Cooksaki Hose Company 3, served as on the Cooksaki Town Board. Is survived by many loving family members, including his three sons, Ronald, Robert, Ryan, his daughter-in-law, Carolyn, Emerald, granddaughters, Cameron, and Julianne, his twin brother, Donald Dowse, wife, Debbie, and his sister, Judy Sanowski. Family was always number one for Ron, especially the love of his life, Kathy. Relatives and friends are cordially invited to attend a visitation of St. Mary's Roman Catholic Church, 80 Mansion Street, Cooksaki, New York, on Thursday, 21st September, which is tomorrow, at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mass of the Christian burial will be celebrated on Thursday, September 21 at the church, 1 p.m. St. Mary's, Cooksaki. Tournament will follow with the U.S. Army honored at the family plot, St. Mary's Parish Cemetery, Route 385 in Cooksaki. Arrangements are under direction of W.C. Brady Sons Funeral Home, Cooksaki. Donations in memory of Ron Dowse may be made to the Albany Stratton VA Medical Center, Attention Voluntary Services, 113 Holland Avenue, Albany, New York. Tell you, Ron was really a great person. He rode with me in the parade in my convertible, T-Bird convertible. It was a pleasure driving him. Son had to lift him in the car. And when I brought him back home, he said, "Thank you for allowing me to go with you." I said, "You know, Ron, it was a real pleasure taking you." We're really touching, I'll tell you. So he was a good person. And Tommy can attest to that.
Yeah, Ronnie was a good guy. He was always involved with the Little League and the youth, and always walking through the village and whatever. He always had a joke for you and always looked out for everybody in the community. So he'll be greatly missed.
So I'd like to get a motion to adjourn our meeting. Legislator Martinez, second by everyone. And the last memorials for Rose E. Martinez, age 84, went to be with the Lord on August 29th, 2023. She was a resident of Rivertown Senior Apartments. Rose was born on June 18, 1939 in Albany, the daughter of the late Joseph and Lillian Jones Spadaro. Rose graduated from Ravenna Coleman's High School in 1956, and in 1958 married Charles Martinez of Cooksaki. She was an avid speller, photographer, and gardener since childhood. She helped beautify and maintain the flower gardens at Rivertown Garden Apartments with joy, giving much enjoyment for all to enjoy its beauty. Survivors include her son Charles Chuck Martinez in spring, loving adopted son in her heart, Alicio Kuzma of Brazil, and daughter Maria Celeste, as well as her sister Mary Whitney, husband Dan, brothers Joseph Spadaro and Sally, Thomas Spadaro of Judy, daughter-in-law Penny Martinez, granddaughter Brianna Inglis, Kevin, Olivia Newkirk, and Stephen, as well as grandchildren and great-grandchildren by adoption on her heart. Michael Hannigan, Ryan and Paige, Sam Churchill, Clara Brummel and Seth, Kelsey Van Vechten, and Kendall Coleman and Gavin. Dear nieces, great nephews, dear nieces, great nieces, nephews, and great nephews are also dear to her heart. Besides her parents, Rose was predeceased by her dear son Jeffrey, her brother Michael Spadero, sister-in-law Sharon Spadero, dear friend Nancy Camley, and daughter-in-law Patricia Spunovich. Calling hours were September 1st at St. Mary's Church in Cooksaki, and a funeral mass followed at 12 noon. Following the visitation, and the mass celebrated both Rose and Jeffrey. So I think certainly another servant of the Lord. I'd like to adjourn our meeting in honor of Rose Martin. Charlie, would you like to make the motion?
Oh, my God.
Charlie will make the motion, and we'll all second. Thank you. And with that, anything else?